Hey everybody, this is Neko'S. I thought maybe you guys might want to see something a little bit different, so I'm trying to see if I can show you my knitting. I'm working on another scarf. I don't know who I'll give this one to. Let's see if I put this down lower, maybe get a better view. There we go. I'm calling this one my Frankenscarf because it's got that lovely color. It's got the slime green and the purple, like the Halloween monster sprinkles from the baking department where I work. And I've also got purple, some grape jelly colored yarn, or grape yarn from the Tom Baker scarf I made for my son Wes. Leslie Foster at Essex Digitalia. See, like I said, I'm going to be going to State Farm on Tuesday to make my first payment on my renter's insurance. I should have had renter's insurance a long time ago, but I was not budgeting my money very well. I was in survival mode and trying to buy things and be the cool parent all at the same time, and it didn't work too well. Let's see, what else? Oh yes, I was supposed to go talk to another real estate agent today, and she's going to hook me up with a lender, but if she calls me back, I guess I'll just have to politely tell her that I would like to, but there's just no way because my credit is still bad. It's at 468 or 469. And yeah, it's kind of crazy that everything's about credit. You don't pay for a house with your credit card. At least I would hope not. You'd have to be really ridiculously rich to do that, wouldn't you? And what did I just do here? Okay. I think I just knitted a stitch twice. Pay attention, Julie. Oh yeah, I think I've got some coffee too. Hang on. Pause. Here we go. Coffee. Yes, you've seen this mug before. Or maybe, I don't know. Just put it up here. I know the big trend is something called a mukbang, where people are, supposedly is it, I don't remember, I looked it up, I don't want to like say anything and look like an idiot, but the people eat while they're talking. And I try to watch someone's videos like that. At first I thought, well, maybe it was a type of food. It's like, and then they kept showing the same, you know, the title kept popping up over and over and over. What is this? So I looked it up. And, Kelly Eden had explained what it was, and she did several videos like that. Okay, eating in front of people while you're talking. Some people that vlog let you see their meals, like when they go out to eat with their friends or whatever, and they talk to you while they're eating. That's not the same thing. I probably won't be able to do too much of this because I'm not sure when my phone's going to time out. Because this phone, LG Tributes are much better than that one that I had, that I bought because my other phone had gotten wet and it was the only thing I could get at the time. And this one, for being a free replacement because it was an upgrade. And I stayed with my service. is actually pretty good so far. It has to do updates every few weeks or so to everything. But on the whole, so far I'm not too mad at Boost. And congrats to Michelle Reich, Reich, I'm not sure how she pronounces it, Skullgirdle on her new channel, Skullgirdle RIP. Yay! I went ahead and subscribed to her new channel. Go check her out. She's moving her videos basically to her new channel, and what she's saying is it's going to be mostly, I guess, live streams, I guess, on the other one. And that makes sense because other YouTubers do that as well. They have a channel where they do live streams and one where they have regular vlogs and reviews and stuff. I'm just me, just this channel, and I do what I can. I hadn't done any DIYs in a while, so I thought, well, maybe I would, see if I was going to put this behind me and let you see me knitting. That would have been kind of like the fireplace channel, where it's like kind of a first-person view kind of thing, like a video game, where you see the fireplace going, and randomly, every once in a while, every few minutes, a hand reaches in and stokes the fire and stirs the embers around and adds a new log and stuff. And I thought that'd be kind of, while it's peaceful, it might also be boring. Why would anybody want to sit and watch me knit? Just my knitting. There's that stupid stitch I messed up again. So I thought, well, maybe if I sit here and knit with you, it won't be so bad. Yes, what have I got coming up besides? Oh yeah, adulting. Also Tuesday I need to mail Hardware Foster's birthday present. And what else? Pay my utilities, oil change. And one of these checks we have to get 2 new tires for the car. And there I go with the we. Skullgirdle was laughing about herself saying we, but the royal we. And when I say we, I'm not talking myself third person or whatever, or not a royal we. I guess it's just me being silly, talking like you are with me doing these things. Even though you're watching from your computer or your phone, and you're not actually doing these things with me. What I'm hoping to do, if I can knit this quickly enough, is you can see this, how I've got this set up. Because I don't know how many people do this, but I did a hat for a while back when I was trying to sell hats, sell skateboard beanies, which I still do make, by the way. But I haven't had any customers, and the average person only wanted to pay like $5 a hat, whereas Enchantment Tees had quoted me $20, and then they were going to mark them up from there. But anyway, I still can make those. They're easy. It's a 40 row garter stitch, and you basically make a square or a rectangle and fold it in half, right sides together like you're sewing, stitch up the seam, and then gather the top. The way they had my son Essex Digitalian and I had done knitting a long time ago. He had wanted to learn how to knit, so I bought a knitting kit, and he started it, and you know how kids do, he got bored with it, so I kept up with it. And we made the hat and did the corners the way it said, and we looked at it and like, this looks like the business end of a cow. With the girl wearing it, the way she had it, it looked points, it looked like ears almost. But when you looked at it, it had the 4 corners are poking up. It's like, what? This looks kind of silly. We gave it to my mom, and she wore it. And I think we made the scarf as well. I don't remember. I think we did, and we gave those to her, and she loved it. She wore them for a long time. But he hasn't knitted since. But that's where I learned how to make the beanies. And then eventually, I did try to sew the corners like they said. Only I was using a smaller gauge yarn. That was like big, fat, chunky yarn, which is why I made the funny points. And I was able to get the corners to work the way they said. But then what I did was I found a way to pull the corners together and then stitch those shut. And I got to thinking, there's got to be another way to do this. So what I did was went around like a spiral, did like you're gathering a piece of cloth, and pulled it together like a drawstring, and then tied a knot in it, and that made a much better seam on the top, not as rough, a lot more smooth, and a lot easier on the top of your head. So basically, yeah, I can still do that, and it's not that hard. And because I only do garter stitch, I don't purl, I don't cable stitch, I don't know how to do patterns. But they turn out quite well. And I wanted to do like goth stripes, and my first one was like a puke green, like they call it spring green or apple green or something with black, and it looked really neat, and I made it for myself as a sample. And then one time, I saw somebody wearing a hat like that in Walmart where I was working. I'm like, somebody ganked my hat? I'm like, no. I'm thinking, no, I still have the hat. But somebody had the same idea, only they crocheted. It's funny, huh? But yeah, it's not like green and black stripes is anything unique to me. Anybody can do that. So yeah, like I said, I do beanies. I can do scarves. Scarves take longer with me working. It takes me almost a week. If I had all day and had the patience to do it, I could probably make one in one day, just like I could with a hat. So you're probably getting tired of this. Like I said, I wanted to show you how this transition with the two colors, but I'm not going to have time to do that. We're at like 12 minutes already, and you're probably bored as heck. Also, I've got to think about things to do with my mom while I'm there for 10 days, keeping an eye on her while my sister's out of town, out of state, with my niece at the Mayo Clinic. I was going to, somebody has suggested DVDs, and kid movies like Miyazaki films. So like I said, I had taken some DVDs with me the one time I spent the night, and to my horror, my sister does not have my mom's DVD player anymore. In fact, she tried to palm it off on me. She said, did you want it? I'm like, no, I've got a PlayStation 3, I don't need it. And yeah, she's got cable, and she's got a Roku, which is essentially a smart TV. And so anything you want to watch, you have to watch what's on the Roku, and then or on Comcast, I think it is. And that's kind of boring. I mean, you can only watch, but it does have Netflix though. But a lot of those things she's not paying extra for, so I don't think you can get, well, I think she does get Netflix though, because they were watching a kid movie. It was a Boss Baby. I think it was on Netflix. They were watching it on her TV. But I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to watch Miyazaki movies with my mom, and that was not a thing because I, couldn't do the DVDs. So that won't work. Her doctor had given her a puzzle this last time I spent the night. It's a jigsaw puzzle, and the dementia or Alzheimer's patient is supposed to try putting it together. You look at the picture, they give you the picture, and then you try to piece it together. It gives you a chance to use your brain and concentrate. Well, I said, well, Mom, you gonna make this? She's like, no. You can make it if you want to, and I'll watch. Now that was kind of defeated the purpose, really. So I'm sitting there putting the puzzle together, and it was a simple puzzle, but it does require some thinking. So that was good for me, because it'd been literally years since I'd put together a jigsaw puzzle. And I put it together and left it in the box, and thinking, maybe my sister would be like, Mom, I know you didn't make that puzzle, but that never happened. I did, however, ask her some of the questions and try to prompt her to think, and it was a picture, it was based on a painting called, I believe it was Monet's Garden. And at first I thought maybe it was by Monet because I was looking at the title. So it made me think more too, because I actually read the description, and it was I don't remember the name of the painter because I'd never heard of it before. But he basically, like I said, made a painting of Monet's garden. And one of the questions they asked, one of the prompts was, what kind of person do you think would live there? And my mom said, someone who wants to be by themselves and doesn't want to be bothered. Good answer. And we talked about, I said, well, like what other kind of people would live there? I mean, look at the garden, look at the flowers. And she's like, well, somebody who likes gardening. So I got her to think a little bit. So what she does need definitely, if she had the budget for it, which sadly she doesn't, and my sister doesn't have the time, would be to have somebody like an occupational therapist. And there goes an airplane. Yeah, the airport's not too far away. It's on Gibson? Or near Gibson. Gibson and Yale. Those street names wouldn't mean anything to you unless you live in Albuquerque. It's kind of like when I lived in Maryland. I was like, at one point I lived under the final approach for BWI Airport. And yeah, basically I'm not that far from Central, which is not too far from the Albuquerque Sunport. So every once in a while you can hear airplanes flying overhead. And the other noise you're hearing is my dishwasher. The washing machine is done already. I need to transfer this stuff to the dryer or find out why it stopped. As you can see, this, again, I'll show you, the variegated yarn is nice. A lot of times I like to knit stripes, but sometimes when I make a beanie, like I'm making a scarf this time, is you get patterns with the variegated yarn, which is kind of pretty. And I'll go a little bit longer here. I'm trying to see if I can get this to knit to the point where you can see where I tied the yarn together. That's what I like to do, is I'll take a bunch of scrap end yarns and tie them together, put a small knot, and then roll them into a giant ball, and then knit it as if it were a multicolored yarn pre-made, kind of splicing it. And you can come up with some interesting patterns that way too, because it looks like a multicolored yarn, the kind that they print out or dye rather, so that it makes stripes. But sometimes the stripes don't hit quite right, and it kind of makes a zigzags, like the colors don't transition properly, and you get a changing color in the middle of what should be a stripe. And that's what I do when I knit the yarn together. I tie the yarn together and then knit it. It's the same kind of effect. You get a random color change in the middle or on the side or something. So, and it's really fun to do if you like to reuse your yarn, if you do a lot of knitting or crocheting, and you want a kind of cool effect. It's a fun thing to do. And I had done that for the longest time, and then my mom taught me how to change colors and make real stripes. And basically, you just cast the other color in, go 1 to 4 stitches, and then tie it off, and then continue with the new color. And if you do it at a row and a half, and it transitions nicely, it doesn't do a weird switch. But if you go, that's with my knitting, what I found, a row and a half, because I do small stripes. Well, actually, in general though, I would do 1.5 to make 2 to make the pinstripes on the hats I used to make. But if you go even with larger stripes, what I found, you want to go on the half, because then when you change it over, it will make the previous color comes out as a full. And we're at 20 minutes, and this is still not changing for me, so you're not going to see it. Let me finish this, and I'll show you the color that's underneath, so you can see what it would switch to if we had time. See, there's the purple, and in a little bit it's going to knit into that, but I don't have time. It's 20 minutes, and you've been sitting here knitting with me, and hopefully this isn't boring. Again, I'm going to try and make more and interesting content, and if this is something you guys would like to see again, please let me know. I know that you like the bath bomb videos, any kind of shopping or mail hauls. Basically, those are big things. But again, like I said, I don't know about other content creators, but I do have a tight budget. I splurge periodically and then cut back where as needed, to accommodate splurging. But I can't always do that. And right now, considering I'm putting the gas in the car myself, and in my mom's car, and it's 6-cylinder engine, it's $10 every half a tank of gas is $10. So it's like every week or every other week, it's $10, $10, $10, $10, and it's like $40 by the end of the month. So basically, I'm essentially filling the car up twice, because it costs at least $20 to fill the car if you let it run down. So $40 a month that's coming out of my pocket now, as opposed to having my mom pay for, which originally we had decided, well, since if she was driving the car, it would still be, she'd be taking care of the gas, the registration, etc., 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 and the car insurance. So I'm going to try and see what I can do in the way of money, and see how far I can stretch my budget, and see perhaps if maybe my sister and I can work out a deal to where I can maybe take over the car and just have her change sign the title over to me, and maybe the insurance